This game was over. Like, it was done. The crowd was dead. And it's not dead because Knicks fans suck. Knicks fans are the best. And you know what? I'll tell everybody, like, piss off this morning. And I'm filled to the brim with New York pride this morning. New York forever, and everybody else can go, you know what? This crowd is unbelievable. Knicks fans are unbelievable. But no reason to cheer. The Knicks were playing like ass. They were terrible last night's game. Jalen Brunson was terrible. Karl Anthony Towns was on a milk carton. No one could get anything going. Jordan Clarkson, he could have at some point ripped off his jersey and been wearing an NWO Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. This game was over. It was over. It was done. Everybody was dejected. We were defeated. We were just sitting there. It was brutal. It was terrible. But being at a funeral was awful. And then it wasn't. And I will say this. I never lie to you. Never. On my daughter, on my late father's grave, as the Knicks first started the comeback, down 22, make a couple buckets, on my daughter, my precious 2-year-old daughter, I thought to myself, I would trade a terrible New York football Giants season this year just for the Knicks to win this game. So I apologize in advance to all my fellow New York Giants fans. Because I think, like Danhausen cursed the Cleveland Cavaliers, I may have cursed the New York football Giants, who are my favorite team overall, but I've seen the Giants win Super Bowls. It had to be done. So in my head as a sports fan, look, we all have things that we're superstitious about. I remember divisional round of the 2007 playoffs, Giants against the Cowboys. Giants went on the road in Dallas. That's my quarterback. And my mom was in the bathroom when the Giants had a defensive stop. I'm still living at home at the time in early 2008. And I made my mom go and stand in the bathroom every single time that the Giants were on defense during the game. After that, we all have our superstitions. We all have them. And, and that's 20 years ago, just about here. Even at the age of almost 43, I turned 43 in like 2 weeks. I still got it. I still got them. And that's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of this whole thing, is it reduces you down. And reduce is the wrong word, because reduce makes it sound negative. No, this is great. It transforms you. You're a 5-year-old again. You're an 8-year-old again. You're 14 again. It's unreal what it all does for you. And this is why you love sports. Even for me, as a tortured Knicks fan who's never seen my team win a championship, it's all worth it. All the losing's worth it when you get a moment like last night. And you bask in the glory. You bask in the glow, the ecstasy, the delirium of a huge win, of a comeback win of this magnitude. To be there in attendance is absolutely unbelievable. And how could you not think back as Knicks fans or as basketball fans? To last year in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, when the Knicks are dominating the Indiana Pacers, and the Knicks are up 14 with less than 3 minutes to play against the Indiana Pacers, and they take their foot off the gas, and they blow it, and Tyrese Halliburton rips our heart out and shows it to us still beating, and Halliburton with the ridiculous shot off back rim to send the game to overtime. How about last night? Sam Merrill with the three-pointer to win the game at the end of regulation for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll tell you what, I thought it was going in. And if he makes that shot, I don't know if I'm doing the show this morning. I'm being honest. I don't know if I'm able to get out of bed this morning if that shot goes in from Sam Merrill. And it goes around the rim in agonizing fashion, like it's doing a figure eight around the rim. And rims out. And, this morning, because I'm at the game, obviously, I don't watch the TV broadcast. I watched some of the highlights just to hear the crowd, to feel it again. Mike Breen was ready. He almost said bang. Yeah, Mike, what are you doing, man? You're supposed to be one of us, a New Yorker. I'm kidding. Am I? That shot had gone in. I don't know if I'm able to do the show this morning. I mean, I would have, because I like money and I like to perform. But man, I would be crushed this morning. That was justice. And Cavs fans, I'm sorry. I know it's not justice. There's nothing to do with you. But this is justice for us, for me, for New York. after what happened last year in game one, for the inverse to happen last night. Down 22. I don't need a probability chart. One of these ridiculous flow charts. I don't need to see it. I don't need math. I don't need analytics. I don't need PER. I don't need XFIP. I don't need WOBA. I don't need your spreadsheets. I don't need DVOA. I don't need any of it to know that the Knicks were dead. Because I was there. I felt it. They were dead. And then they weren't. Like Lazarus. Jalen Brunson. The king of New York. What can you say about Jalen Brunson? He was terrible. Terrible for much of this game. And then when it came down to it, to crunch time, when it came time to let the grapefruits hang, oh, baby, he let them hang. And, oh, they were big and they were magnificent. He was unbelievable. Shot after shot. And I talk a lot, covering sports for a living, right? The anatomy of a collapse. And you could go back to whatever collapse, and this is unfortunate for Cleveland here, right? But we'll take the opposite side of it. When you think about all the things that have to happen in order for a collapse to fully unfold, where if one thing goes differently, let's use Super Bowl 51, Falcons-Patriots as an example, right? If one huge play goes differently in that game, the Falcons win the Super Bowl, and the Patriots lose Super Bowl 51. You can say the same thing last night with the Cavs and the Knicks, where one thing goes differently and Cleveland wins the game in regulation. So you have this moment, right? And I'm in the crowd and you feel the energy where the comeback starts and they make a couple buckets. And Mike Brown actually called timeout when they cut the deficit to 13, and we were screaming, Mike, why are you calling timeout here? We got all the momentum. And they kept chipping away. And the Cavs kept missing. Thank you, James Harden, settling for atrocious three-pointers. Just ridiculous. And we'll get to Harden. We'll get to the Cavs part of this. But it's Brunson would just come down the court and just make every shot. It was unbelievable. You're watching it and you're thinking, how's this happening? How in God, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Is this real? Unbelievable. Cue up the Dave Matthews. Or am I dreaming? Oh, no. No dreams. Reality. Oh, yeah. Brunson. How about Landry Shamet making every single big shot, including one that was like the Halliburton shot, not quite as dramatic. Off the rim and in. Mikal Bridges. I'll say this. Mikal Bridges can piss us off at times as Knicks fans. I know this is a little Knicks-centric, but you know what? I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm a New Yorker. I'll hit everything, I promise. But, Mikal Bridges draws the ire of Knicks fans. Has he lived up to the expectation, trading 500 first-round picks for him? Probably not. But you know what? Last year, second-round Celtics. Here's all these great defensive plays. How about Bridges with some clutch shots at the end of the game? The steal in regulation up 7. Where you know what I want to say when I think about Mikal Bridges? If you'll allow me for a moment to channel my inner Les Snead and my inner Sean McVay, and I will mute it here a little bit just for the purposes of the FCC, because they won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. F them picks. F them. F them. Go, hey, Brooklyn, go take those picks. Enjoy the 29th overall pick. Hopefully you'll be 30th. Go enjoy your late first-round picks for the next 3 years. We'll enjoy the Eastern Conference Finals and hopefully the NBA Finals. The game goes to overtime. And even before it goes to overtime, I'm saying to the guys that I'm with, and look, this is one of those where, I remember being at WrestleMania 28 when The Rock beat in Miami. Rock beats John Cena in the main event. And I understand it's wrestling, right? Whatever. I love it, though. People were jumping up and down in the aisles at WrestleMania 28. This was people jumping up and down in the aisles. I'm hugging. There's this poor guy, and I didn't realize it. Look, if I were younger, I'd probably antagonize him, but I'm a little older at this point. Guy sitting right behind me is a Cleveland fan wearing a Cleveland shirt. I kept trying to high-five him, and I'm like, why won't he high-five me? Everyone else is high-fiving me, and then I realized he was a Cavs fan. Whoops, my bad. You're hugging everybody. How great that experience of being at a game, I pray and hope that all of you have felt that at some point in your lives. That community. When, like, I'm sitting next to this dude. I've never met him before. And by the end of the game, we're like best friends. We're hugging. We're high-fiving. We're arm in arm. We're jumping up and down together. It reached the point where, certainly in overtime, because now, like, we can try and divorce ourselves of the emotion of the moments, because it reaches the point, right? Because the Knicks are done, right? Like, the game's over. And then it's not. And once they cut it to, like, 5, and then 3, and tie the game, they have to win. So it's almost like you go from defeat to delirium, and then you're back in anxious mode. Because now you have to win. Because now, if you come all the way back and you lose, man, it's a terrible feeling. And you're going back to Cleveland at best with the split. So it actually turns from, like, oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened, into now we're back in the sweat room. We're back in the sweat zone. We're back in the pit of misery. I'm watching literally with my hands on my head. I couldn't even watch the final shot. I got my hands in front of my eyes. It's a true story, not lying. There's actually video of it, which no one needs to see, but I'm just telling the truth. Couldn't even watch it. Had to win the game. And then they go to overtime, and they blow that ass out. And they leave no doubt.